that?
It's a lullaby from my youth.
Rather grim dirge with which to entice mortals, I should say. You examine me, Miss Eyre. You find me handsome.
No.
By my word, you sit there never saying a word. When one makes a remark to which you are obliged to reply, you rap out a round rejoinder. What do you mean by it?
Sir, I was too plain. I ought to have replied that tastes mostly differ, that beauty is of little consequence, or something of that sort.
You ought to have replied no such thing, beauty of little consequence. Go on. What faults do you find with me, Fred? Does my forehead not please you? My own?
Far from it, sir. You would perhaps think me rude if I inquired in return whether you were a philanthropist.
There again, another stick of the penknife. Because I sent that little French flowerlet away so abruptly? Well, no, Miss Eyre, when I was as old as you, I was a feeling fellow enough. Fate has knocked me about since. I flatter myself I'm as hard and tough as an India rubber ball. Pervious, though, through a chink or two still. Yes? Does that leave hope for me?
Hope of what, sir?
You look puzzled, Miss Eyre. And though you are not pretty any more than I am handsome, puzzled I become you. If it please me to know more of it, speak.
Of what, sir?
Whatever you like. You are silent, Miss Eyre. Stubborn and annoyed. It is consistent. I put my request in an absurd form. Miss Eyre, I beg your pardon. I desire you to have the goodness to talk to me a little now. Divert my thoughts, which are galled and dwelling on one point, cankering as a rusty nail.
How do I know what will interest you? Ask me questions. I will do my best to answer them.
Very well. Here is one. Do you agree with me that I have a right to be a little masterful on the ground that I am older than you, with 10 years difference in age and a centuries of experience?
I don't think you have the right to command me merely because you are older. Your claim to superiority depends on the use you've made of your time.
Promptly spoken. But I won't allow that, as it would never suit my case. Seeing as I have made an indifferent, not to say bad, use of both advantages. Leaving superiority out of the question, then, will you agree to receive my orders occasionally without being hurt by the tone of command? That smile is very well, but speak to.
I was thinking, sir, that very few masters would care whether their servants were hurt by their orders.
Servants? Oh yes, I had forgot the salary. Well, on that mercenary ground, will you agree to let me hit you a little?
No, sir. But on the grounds that you did forget it, I agree heartily.
And will you consent to dispense with a great many conventional phrases without thinking me insolent?
Sure, sir, I should never mistake informality for insolence. One I rather like, the other nothing free-born would submit to, even for a salary.
Humbug! Most things free-born will submit to anything for a salary. Therefore, don't venture on generalities of which you are intensely ignorant. However, I mentally shake hands with you for your answer, despite its inaccuracy. Not 3 in 3,000 country governesses would have spoken as you did. I don't flatter you, though. If you are cast in a different mold than the majority, it is no merit of yours. Nature did it. And you may have intolerable defects to counterbalance your few good points. Yes, Miss Eyre, I have plenty of faults of my own, I know it. But nature intended me to be a good man. I might have been as good as you. Wiser, almost as stainless. Little girl, a memory without blot or contamination must be an exquisite treasure, an inexhaustible source of pure refreshment, is it not?
How was your memory when you were 18, sir?
All right, then. No gush of bilge water had turned it to a fetid puddle. I was quite your equal. Then fate wronged me, and I degenerated. I wish I stood firm. God knows I do. Dread remorse when you are tempted to err. Remorse is the poison of life.
Repentance is said to be the cure.
It is not the cure. Reformation is the cure. But what is the use of thinking of that, cast as I am? Besides, since happiness is irrevocably denied me, I have a right to get pleasure out of life. Sweet, fresh pleasure.
It will taste bitter, sir.
How do you know? You've never tried it. By what instinct do you pretend to distinguish between a fallen seraph and a messenger from the eternal throne, between a guide and a seducer.
To speak the truth, sir, I don't understand you at all. I cannot keep up the conversation because it has got out of my depth. One thing I know. You said you were not as good as you would like to be. It seems to me that if you tried hard, you would in time find it possible to become what you yourself would approve, and you would in a few years have laid up a new and stainless store of memory.
Miss Eyre, you know what I was thinking of when I came upon you and Adele just now? I was arranging the point of my destiny. She stood there by that beech trunk, like one of Macbeth's hags on the heath. You like Thornfield, she said, lifting a finger. And she wrote in the air a memento. Like it if you can. Like it if you dare. I will like it. I dare like it. I know what my aim is, what my motives are, and at this moment, I pass a law that both are right.
It cannot be, sir. It requires a new law to legalize them. You take on a power with which only the divine can be entrusted.
What power?
I'm saying, let it be right.
Let it be right. The very words you have pronounced them.
May it be right then, sir.
But where are you going?
It is time for Adele's class.
You are afraid of me because I talk like a sphinx.
I am bewildered. I'm certainly not afraid.
You are afraid. Your self-love dreads a blunder.
I have no wish to talk nonsense.
And if you did, you would speak it in such a grave, quiet manner, I should mistake it for sense. You never laugh, Miss Eyre. Don't trouble yourself to answer. I see you laugh rarely. But when you do, it is a merry sound. Well, I must go in now. And you too. It darkens.